share with you my kind of system or my best tips for overcoming this challenge. So what you want to do, and this kind of system stemmed out of when I was learning how to play kind of riffs and licks on the guitar, because it's quite weird when you want to learn how to play say a riff like Walk This Way by Aerosmith. What you do is you start off really slow. So this is the riff. So you normally play that on an electric guitar, but I've got the acoustic with me. But that's that kind of that riff. And what you do is when you learn riffs, you start really slow. You're not playing at full tempo. You're going like this. So you're playing really slow. And so what I've done is I adapted a system for learning riffs to learning chords and songs. So what the first thing is you want to do is pick a song you want to learn how to play on the guitar. Now, for this example, what we're going to use is a nice simple song. It's one of the first songs I learned how to play on the guitar. It's Last Kiss by Pearl Jam. Has a really simple chord progression that's very repetitive throughout the song. So I'm going to use Last Kiss by Pearl Jam as this example. So kind of step one is you want to pick a song you want to learn. Again, we're going to use Last Kiss by Pearl Jam. Step two, you want to work out, well, what chords are played and in what order for this example. So we're not going to cover how to do that, because I'm assuming if you're having trouble changing from chord to chord, you probably know what chords are already in the song. But for this song, it's G major, E minor, C major, and D major. So they're the four chords, and it simply just repeats that, and it uses the strumming pattern of down, down, up, up, down, up. So that's pretty much that song. So what you want to do is, now that I know what chords are played and in what order, so we've got G, E minor, C, D. What we want to do is not worry about the strumming when learning it. So if I'm having trouble changing from the G to the E minor to the C to the D, I'm not going to worry about strumming. So we're going to take the strumming off the table and just really focus on our left hand here. This will help with the chord changes. So it's really going to help you to speed up your chord changes and improve it. And it's based off how I learned, how I learned to play riffs and licks, like I showed you before. So what we're going to do is we start with the G major chord, which is our first chord, and what I'm going to do is just a simple down strum. Nice and slow. Then what we're going to do is move to the next chord, E minor. Then to the next chord, to the C, just a down strum, and then to the next chord, D. And I just repeat that. So, if you've got a more complicated song, you could break this down into maybe verse and chorus, or if it's depending on the song, or just pick a chunk of the verse that would repeat, and just kind of learn those chord changes. So we've got G, E minor, C, and D. So the key here is to change from chord to chord with a simple down strum, but do it nice and slow. Like that. Now this may sound really simplistic, and that's the whole point of it. So you want to start slow. We're not worrying about the strumming pattern, because that kind of gets us all confused, and we've got to try and time it. What we want to do is we start slow. And then what we can do is, once we get used to it, our fingers are getting used to it, we can start building up the speed. So you can see I was going very slow. And at the beginning, there's always this real conscious effort. You're looking down at the strings, you're placing it, and that's fine. That does happen at the beginning. Then you go to the next chord. Okay, G, okay, I need to go to the E minor now, so you place it like that. Now I need to go to the C, and then I need to go to the D. But if I keep practicing that, even if I practice just those chord changes for a couple of minutes a day, and just do that consistently, so 2 minutes today or 5 minutes today, a couple of minutes, 2, 5, 10, whatever you want, just a couple of minutes at least every day for the next few days, you'll find that in just a couple of days' time, those chord changes get really easy, or it becomes a lot easier. And just day by day, things get a lot quicker. And it's the way I was learning riffs, because, like that Walk This Way, I started off slow like this, and it was literally this slow, and I was really conscious to work out what strings I'm picking, what notes I'm playing. And once you do it, you start building up the speed. So you've got that speed, but it starts slow. And same with the chord changes. Start slow. G, E minor, C, D. Once I start getting the speed up, then what I can do is add the strumming pattern. So once I'm kind of doing the chord changes to the speed or the original tempo of the song with a simple down strum, then I can go and add the strumming pattern. That's for that song. So you can see you just start slow with the chord changes, but if I'm practicing with just a down strum, nice and slow, and then I build up that speed. When I add the strumming pattern, I don't need to think about my left hand or my chord changes as much, which makes it a lot faster. So it's kind of like, it's really weird because you want to be able to play your chord changes nice and fast, but the way to do it is to start slow. So which is kind of opposite to how, because you want to do it really fast, but you can't go like that straight away. It just doesn't work. It's like, this riff. I couldn't do it like that fast when I first learned how to play it. It was like that, really slow. Same with the chord changes, but just do a down strum. Get rid of the strumming pattern because that does kind of complicate it and make it awkward. If we're going to use another song, so hopefully that makes sense. Really, the steps again was just pick a song you want to learn, work out what chords are played in what order, and you may want to break that down into a verse or a chorus, just to kind of have just a handful of chords to learn, and then you go and practice those chords, but nice and slow, just with a simple down strum. That's the key, no strumming, just down strum, nice and slow. And then you want to do that, basically repeat it for a few minutes. And you can even do this while watching TV. I've learned how to play riffs and licks by practicing just by watching TV, so I'd be like this while watching my favorite show. Like that, and I just practice, and you can do the same with the chord changes. I've done that too. You just practice the chord changes. And you just do it slow. I'm doing it a bit fast, but you could do it slow. It takes as long as it takes. And once you do it, so repetition is the mother of all skill, especially with the guitar. Then you can start building up the tempo. Once you get to the kind of the original tempo of the song, which is not as fast as that, then you can start adding the strumming pattern. And that will help with your chord changes. So let's do another example with Wild Things. So if you're still watching this video, why don't we do another example? Why don't we pick Wild Thing by the Trogs, another easy song. So I've picked the song. Step 2 is to work out what chords are played in what order. It's A, D, E, D. That's the main song. So it sounds like this. Wild thing, you make my heart sing. Not much of a singer, but I have a bit of fun with it anyways. So it's A, D, E, D. And what I do again is I'm not going to worry about that strumming pattern, just playing it so you could hear the song. But I'm going to go A, so that's A major. Then I'm going to go to the D major chord. Then I'm going to go to the E major chord. Then I'm going to go back to the D major chord. And then I'm going to just keep repeating that. A. Again, it takes as long as it takes for you to get to the chords. And I can do this while watching TV. And I'm just trying to build that muscle memory, and you do that by starting slow, and it gets easier and easier, but it doesn't happen overnight. It does take a bit of time. Consistent practice, have fun with it. Guitar's meant to be fun, so you just do this over a couple of days, and you'll find that shortly, a few minutes a day, over a few days, your chord changes do start to improve if you follow this system. And you can see I'm just doing this. And the good thing about this exercise is, you may be practicing chord changes, but you're doing it in a way that's kind of, it's a bit of fun. Sometimes practicing that gets a bit boring, but the thing with this is you're not doing it, not some random chord changes. You're doing it and you can apply it straight away, because once we can get these chord changes up to speed, well, I can add the strumming pattern. You can see then I've got that song. So what I'm using, those chord changes, when I'm practicing, we can apply it into a real life application, which is what I like. It's, I remember at school learning math, and you're kind of thinking, well, for me anyways, I'm thinking, when will these, this algebra and all this kind of stuff be applied in the real world? And I'm sure, engineers and stuff like that probably use it, but I didn't want to be an engineer. So I had trouble kind of working that, that real life application, and I still did okay with it. But I've always never been a fan of learning things if I can't really work out the application of it. So my style is always, well, let's learn something and then work out, well, how do we apply that to something that kind of sounds cool? And that's my theory with the guitar. But I really hope this video has been of value, and that you've enjoyed it. Again, pick a song, work out what chords are played in what order, and then start slow with a simple down strum, and just do that for a few minutes a day for that song, and then over a few days you will notice a change, and then it becomes easier. Still may not be perfect, and it may take a week or so, or a couple of weeks, but just a couple of minutes a day. You can do this while watching TV. Use what's called net time, which I've learned the theory from Anthony Robbins, which is no extra time. It means just, you do that task while doing something else you'd normally do. So maybe watching TV, or I don't know, maybe if you can cook dinner and play the guitar at the same time. I don't know. If you're skilled like that, probably wouldn't want to play the guitar while driving, so wouldn't want to take advantage of that time. But maybe, while you're watching TV is a good one. Or maybe I even do it while watching YouTube videos or something on the computer. So that's how I do it. Hopefully it's helped out. Just try it, start slow, just be patient with it. I know it's really tempting at the beginning, just you want to be able to play things perfectly, but it is that progression. It's like learning to drive. You're thinking of everything absolutely consciously at the beginning, but you do it a few times, you get better, and then you keep doing it and you get better, and then soon you get to the point where you're driving down the highway, you're absolutely daydreaming, and you get home and you worked out, how did I get home? I can't even remember the whole journey, because you're just so unconscious about it. And I think that I think there's 4 stages of learning, and one of them's where you want to get to is unconscious competence. So unconscious competence. And that's kind of where you want to get to, because probably at the moment you're at the stage of conscious incompetence, where you're really consciously thinking about it, but you can't do it. And that's how everyone starts, and then they move to that stage where you don't even have to think about it and you can just do it. But that just does come with practice and repetition. But hopefully this video's served you well. Thank you for taking the time to fill out my survey. Really appreciate it. Hope you have a fantastic day, and happy strumming.